Hi, I'm Maria Contreras-Sweet, Administrator of the U.S. Small Business Administration. At SBA, we're dedicated to helping small business owners and those who would like to be a small business owner start, grow, and succeed in their business ventures. Every large business started as a small company, and we've helped some of the most recognizable brands along their journey to success. FedEx, Apple, Under Armour, AOL, Ben & Jerry's, Dogfish Head, Stonyfield Farm, Tom's of Maine, Nike, JetBlue Airways, Chobani, just to name a few. For people throughout the United States and all our territories, SBA is here to help at any stage of your business, from writing a business plan to securing working capital to exporting your products overseas. SBA has district offices across the country. These offices help entrepreneurs with what we call 3 C's and a D: contracting, counseling, capital, and disaster assistance. Government contracting can be a critical tool for growing your small business. The government has many categories of contract opportunities set aside exclusively for small businesses. These help level the playing field for women, for veterans, and the socially and the economically disadvantaged. SBA also offers participation in matchmaking events and the Mentor-Protege program to help small businesses compete more successfully for federal government contracts. Through our district offices and extensive network of resource partners, SBA offers hands-on training, mentoring, and expert advice tailored to your needs. Our online learning center is also available around the clock, so you can explore, take training courses at your convenience. Many entrepreneurs need financial resources to start or expand a small business, and they must combine what they have with other sources of financing. While SBA doesn't loan money directly to small business owners, we can help facilitate a loan with a third-party lender, such as a bank or credit union, by guaranteeing that a certain portion of the loan will be repaid. SBA guaranteed loans can be used for various business needs, including replenishing seasonal inventory, building expansion or renovation, purchasing equipment, and working capital. Finally, when a natural disaster is declared, such as a flood, a wildfire, a hurricane, a tornado, or an earthquake, SBA is there to help business owners, homeowners, and renters pick up the pieces and get on their feet. We offer low-interest, long-term disaster assistance for loans for physical and economic damage caused by a declared disaster. So are you ready to start or grow your small business? Visit SBA.gov to learn more about how we can help and to find the location of your nearest SBA district office or resource partner. We're the U.S. Small Business Administration, your small business resource.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming today. I feel extremely honored and I'm excited to be the first person to welcome you to Twitter HQ and to also kick off this amazing week with the Small Business Administration, where we're celebrating small businesses across the US. My name is Anne Mercogliano, and I head up the Small and Medium Business Marketing Group here at Twitter, and I will also be your MC for today. I am extremely excited to let you guys know that we have a wonderful set of events that is going on today. The other thing that I wanted to call out for just a few housekeeping is that we'd love to have everyone who's joining us live here in person, as well as everyone who's live streaming and joining us across the US, join the conversation with us. So we have our hashtag, which is SBW 2014, and please join in on the conversation throughout the panel, share your thoughts, ask questions, and we welcome you to the community that we're making today. The other thing is that we will be taking photos and video throughout the day, and we encourage you guys to do the same and to post there. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Twitter's President of Global Revenue, Adam Bain, who will be kicking off the event for today.
Thanks, Anne. Actually, I'm going to do my obligatory tweet real quick. So if everybody can just say cheese, 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Thank you. You can follow me at Adam Bain. And that was just tweeted out. So good morning. We're really excited to host the kickoff event for this year's Small Business Week with the U.S. Small Business Administration. You know, small businesses have been part of Twitter since day one. One of the first set of follows or first set of accounts that were ever created on the platform was a small business. And we're extremely proud to be and honored to be working with the U.S. Small Business Administration. Since 1953, it's been a trusted resource in providing assistance to small businesses in a variety of areas, including loans, government contracts, and counseling sessions. With the SBA's comprehensive network of resources and expertise, we know that by working together, we'll be able to reach even more small businesses and help them leverage the power of social media. So today, we brought together leaders from small business, government, high technology communities to all raise awareness for small biz across the nation. And it's a pleasure to have such a great lineup of distinguished speakers, including our neighbor from a short walk away, Mayor Ed Lee, the new SBA Administrator, Maria Contreras-Sweet, Democrat House Leader and Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi, the President of Kiva, Premal Shah, who will be giving today's keynote, and an expert panel of businesses, including representatives from Sight Glass Coffee, 10Xer, Bespoken Communications and Score, and of course the Sweat Guru, although we've turned the heat down here a little bit, so there may not be too much sweating for a little bit. And finally, a really close friend of Twitter and founder of Make a Stand Lemonade, Vivian Har. So we hope that you will not only draw inspiration from these speakers, but also uncover new tactics to apply to the growth of your own businesses. Twitter recognizes the tremendous value of small businesses and recognizes the value that they bring to our economy. In fact, small businesses are a very key part of our platform, and we're constantly impressed by the creative, high-impact work that you all do on the platform. We've seen you launch new products and exclusive offers that excite followers while impacting your business's top line. We've seen you build a relevant and highly engaged follower base that provides real-time feedback. We've seen businesses share business stories through vivid photos and videos that bring to life the dedication to community, and we've also seen you use Twitter to drive passion for social causes back into your business that continues to give back. At the same time, he recognizes that building a business has challenges, especially in an increasingly competitive market. And so Twitter would like to help you stand out and differentiate your products and services to the market. We also would like to help you engage in real-time conversations with consumers that drive tangible business outcomes. And we also want to help you drive more awareness and traffic to any of your website, blogs, or events. We also want to easily tap into the collective ingenuity of small businesses to share insights and practices worldwide. So through free resources like the ones we offer today, webinars, guides, videos, research insights, and the like, we're really invested in continuing to help small businesses learn new marketing tactics that can generate real results. And finally, we'd like to say thank you to all of you for giving us continued feedback and support as we build out our small business initiatives. Please keep the feedback coming. We read every single tweet and email that we get, and it's helping us to improve our products in a pretty big way. So next, we're honored to welcome our neighbor and friend of Twitter, the 43rd mayor of the city and county of San Francisco, Ed Lee. Mayor Lee has been a tireless champion for small businesses throughout his tenure. Please join me in welcoming Ed.
Thank you, Adam. Good morning, everybody. Happy 51st National Small Business Week here in San Francisco, right at the Twitter in Mid-Market in San Francisco. Well, let me all welcome you, and it's really wonderful to join our administrator, Maria Contreras-Sweet, as well as, of course, not only a friend, but a great leader, Nancy Pelosi. Thank you very much for being with us. You know, we can easily call Small Business Week all over the country, but particularly in San Francisco, we could easily call it Jobs Week. And because small business has been such a great engine for our San Francisco community, and all of you who are here, whether you're a business owner or a neighborhood leader, you all know that in San Francisco we have such a great engine of small businesses throughout all the different neighborhoods. But in Mid-Market in particular, I think back when I was walking in here again, and every time I look across and see that dome, I don't get a chance to see the dome very much. You know, I'm inside of it all the time. But I remind myself when Board President David Chu and when Supervisor Kim and I got together and we were thinking through this Mid-Market, we were thinking jobs all along the way. And it's been a wonderful blessing to see these jobs get created right along Mid-Market. What we didn't realize, I think, was how technology was going to help so many other small businesses create that foundation as well. And you're seeing it more and more, whether it's people using their tweets to communicate with their customers, or right a block away, less than a block away, you've got Square helping people with their cash and their financial aspects of their businesses. Or you see companies, small companies like ShopScene, where you're going to get a lot of your inventory online all in the same place. Small businesses are also connecting up with technology in a very, very great way, and I love seeing that. And more, the benefits of that, the benefits of having a single portal for everybody to use in the city to start their businesses, sites that make it easier for folks not to have to stand in line at some agency to get permits, but can get it done 24/7. Those are things that are right around the corner that we're going to be contributing, because that's what supports 65,000 small businesses in San Francisco that I know Regina always reminds me that supports 230,000 jobs in San Francisco. That's wonderful. And then we're not stopping there. Everything's not necessary online, too. In San Francisco, we know and we value our neighborhoods. In fact, I'm a pretty strong neighborhoods kind of guy, and this has been something that I've cherished ever since I swept every alleyway, picked up trash on streets throughout the neighborhoods as Public Works Director. I've loved our neighborhoods. I've loved how small businesses literally strengthen those neighborhoods, especially when the economy has been down. They sacrifice their own monies. Now they're going to get some help. And in fact, they're getting a lot of help from our Invest in Neighborhoods, something that I learned from Mark Quinn in small business regions for many years when I was the purchaser, is that we've got to invest in our small businesses in order for them not only to survive, but to succeed and be great partners in all of our neighborhoods. And so you'll see Invest in Neighborhoods, investing in facade improvements and signage, those things that sometimes have to be taken out of small business' pocket in order to survive. Well, these are times when our revenues are up and we're targeting small business throughout the neighborhoods to make sure they've got that support. We're using loans and we're using grants in order to help businesses deal with their compliance with ADA so that these fly-by lawsuits don't really happen, but that people can be in full compliance with ADA. We're linking them up with all kinds of good information. When SF Travel comes in with these huge conventions, now we're talking about buy local. Even more and more, things that you make, things that you do can be connected up with world-class conventions that are coming into town. These are the things that we get excited about, we're doing, and we're doing it with the modern technology that Twitter and Square and all the other companies are offering. These are really exciting times, and there are times, too, when I can look a child in the eye like we did, several thousand of them this past Saturday, and say, want a job? How about 7,000 jobs this summer for kids in San Francisco? We're also putting more and more emphasis on SF Made, our local manufacturing. There's so much to do there, and we're excited because in and of themselves, they're bringing in, SF Made companies are bringing in over $395 million to our city. They're employing over 4,000 people. And so you're going to find more and more of our efforts to support SF Made. Local manufacturing is really, when you connect that with technology, with invested neighborhoods, you're going to have a pretty exciting city and continues to be. You know, I also want to say something about our special small businesses. There are times when I said earlier that technology is of great help. Well, today we had some special guests of ours that I feel very strongly about. A little pizzeria called Mozzeria or Mozzeria is here in San Francisco. And you'd never think that people with the challenges they have could start their own businesses. But right here in San Francisco, utilizing technology, Melody and Russ Stein created their own restaurant. And they are people who are deaf. And in fact, all their employees are deaf. So how is it that they can then use technology to communicate, make reservations, have their customers order online? All of that is being done with the use of technology. What I'd like to ask, Russ and Melody, would you please stand up and take a recognition for your wonderful, wonderful efforts here in San Francisco? We're communicating all over about our work that we're doing. We're investing in the right way. These are things that I've seen over and over again get sponsored. When Administrator Maria Contreras-Sweet was at the state of California, she did wonderful things for the state, and that's why she was so recognized. Now I get to say that she's 30 days into her new job, and we really want to welcome her as the SBA administrator. But I also learned a lot from Leader Pelosi as well. She constantly is investing in our region, our state. She's a wonderful leader, and I just want to say I'm proud to be with them. I'm proud that we have such a great city of entrepreneurs, of doers, people who are going to say, okay, when we have challenging times, we innovate our way forward. We link ourselves. We make ourselves stronger because of our ingenuity. This is the spirit of San Francisco. I'm so proud of all of you in celebrating the 51st Small Business National Recognition of Small Business Week. Congratulations. Have a great time. We'll see you at Square tonight.
Thank you so much, Mayor Lee. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce Maria Contreras-Sweet, the leader of the U.S. Small Business Administration. Maria was sworn in by Vice President Biden as the 24th SBA administrator last month. She is a successful entrepreneur, corporate executive, and public servant. Maria started 3 different businesses in Los Angeles. One of those was a community bank where she provided capital and counseling to small businesses. And she's been a small business lender as well as a small business leader. This is not Maria's first leadership position in the public sector. Here in California, as Mayor Lee mentioned, she served as State Cabinet Secretary overseeing transportation, housing, and business. Today, Maria advocates for America's small businesses as a member of President Obama's cabinet. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage the SBA Administrator, Maria Contreras-Sweet.
This is much too much fun. Thank you for that generous introduction and for the gracious invitation to be with you here at Twitter. This is a wonderful place. Thank you so much. Thank you. But it's also nice to be in California, as was mentioned, my home. Although I love Washington, D.C., and I'm finding so much reward in the work that I'm doing and energizing, it's always wonderful to be back home in California. So thank you for this gracious hospitality. Thank you to Mayor Lee and our incredible partners at Twitter for hosting us here today. Thank you to Adam for being such a gracious host. And now I officially kick off National Small Business Week of 2014. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, good friends and family, we're delighted that who's in the house? Well, who's in the house is the Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi with us here today. We all know that Leader Pelosi never stops fighting for America's small businesses. Thank you again, Ms. Pelosi, for so ardently championing our small business community. We're also honored today to welcome America's youngest and most inspiring entrepreneurs. Vivian Haar of Marin County, California, is only 10 years old. In 2012, however, she saw a heartbreaking photo of two enslaved brothers in Nepal with rocks strapped across their backs. So Vivian decided to take action. She set up a lemonade stand every day for the better part of a year to raise money to eradicate slavery, child slavery. With her Twitter account, she raised more than $100,000 in the end. In doing so, she showed us how social media can turn a lemonade stand into an instrument of social change. Congratulations, Vivian. Stand up. Stand up. So today, her lemonade stand, called Make a Stand, is bottled at stores, at grocery stores like Whole Foods. Her business is dedicated to creating a better world. Vivian's brashness and business savvy is a call to action to every entrepreneur to think about ways in which they can do well by doing good. In the social media age, consumers know what they're buying, and they reward those companies with a conscience. Thank you, Vivian, again, for taking a stand and making a stand. You'll also hear today from Premal Shah, who founded Kiva, a social media vehicle that lets ordinary citizens make microloans to deliver things like clean water and economic opportunity to communities worldwide. Let's replicate the stories of success in this room. Whether you started a business to provide for your family, to satisfy an unfulfilled passion, or because you want to start a second act and be your own boss, you're strengthening America. Today, we commit anew to growing small businesses so we can help ourselves and help others fulfill the promise of America. With Vivian and Premal as our inspiration, today begins a week-long focus on the risk takers who make the wheels of the economy turn. America's 28 million small businesses create nearly two out of 3 new jobs in our economy, employing half of the private sector workforce. So you can't have a conversation about creating jobs and economic growth without talking about what is truly the lifeblood of our economy, our entrepreneurs. As President Obama said in his proclamation this week, declaring National Small Business Week, my Spanish accent gets in the way. Small businesses represent an ideal at the heart of our nation's promise that with ingenuity and hard work, anyone can build a better life. President Obama passed 18 direct tax breaks into law for America's small businesses. I agree with him, however. We have so much more to do. The president is right when he said we must protect tax credits that help small businesses hire and add incentives for paying workers for higher wages. We must ensure entrepreneurs, even those who are not rich, to ensure that they have the resources to take their businesses to the next level. Because if we create a more level playing field, the best ideas will rise to the top. Opportunity will flourish and America will prosper. This week, we're celebrating small businesses and hosting events across the nation, starting in San Francisco here in the shadows of the Golden Gate Bridge, then Kansas City tomorrow, an online event on Wednesday, Boston on Thursday, and finishing in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. All of our events, workshops, and panels will be live streamed at sba.gov. On Friday, we're going to announce our National Small Business of the Year, so I hope that you'll stay tuned for that one to make sure that you're inspired if you aren't already. Today, I want to recognize our Northern California 2014 Small Business of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Iron Construction. Are you in the house? Thank you, thank you. I love when women go into non-traditional spaces. Very nice. An engineer. It's marvelous. This is a general contracting company that provides quality local jobs, and they're passionate about environmental stewardship. Last year, SBA financing allowed the opportunity for them to have the opportunity to purchase a 27,000 square foot building in Sunnyvale. It's LEED certified and powered partly by geothermal energy. Claudia Folsman and Dave Edgar are here today. Again, please stand and let us recognize you. My friends, do you believe that there's a federal agency supported by Democrats and Republicans? Do you believe that that agency actually exists somewhere in our federal government to help small businesses succeed? Did you know that President Obama added a brand new seat at his cabinet table for someone whose entire job it is to make your job easier? I know. It's hard to believe, but it's true. SBA is the name of the agency, and President Obama appointed me to that seat in his cabinet so that we could recognize the critical role that you play each and every day. As we kick off National Small Business Week today, I want every small business owner in America to get to know your SBA. We want to be your partner. We're the best kind of partner, a silent, consultative partner that takes 0%. Our payoff is helping you build a successful business that creates jobs and put Americans back to work. Today, we're here in the Bay Area, the global capital of high technology and angel investors. Yes, there are angels outside of Silicon Valley too, however. The SBA has angels fanned out across every state in this country, and we're in the business of helping you get into business and succeed. We help you get capital on good terms to start or grow your business. 2, we counsel you about how to get your business plan in shape, how to take your company to the next level. 3, we do matchmaking so you can land contracts, government contracts, corporate contracts, or international export contracts. That's 3 C's: capital, consulting, and contracts, the 3 C's that benefit every business. If you have a small business or you want to start one, the SBA exists to help you succeed. Go to sba.gov and click on the local assistance button to find your angel. They have their wings. Their job is to help you get yours. Take your business to new heights. I started my first business more than 20 years ago, dare I say, leaving a good, safe corporate job in Los Angeles to start my own firm. It was both exhilarating and terrifying. The entrepreneurs out there know the feeling that I'm talking about. I named my firm the Contreras Company. I know, okay, so that wasn't as flashy a name as some of your incredible startups here in this area. But my husband, Ray Sweet, well, he liked it because he tells everybody he made me sweet. I know, that's so bad. I'm sorry. I remember the first thing I decided when I started my business was I thought I need a business card. Makes sense. But that meant I needed an office number, a telephone, a fax, a location, a website. And all of that meant I needed to price it all out. So just like that, I had my first crash course on why small businesses need access to capital. In those early years, I worked a lot of late nights because I spent most of the daylight hours marketing my business. Does that sound familiar? Well, that left the evenings to do the actual work, the painful work of actually getting the work done. I wish that I had known then what I know now. Even now, after having started my own bank, I still didn't know about the full panoply of SBA services available. The SBA specializes in helping entrepreneurs with business planning, strategic networking. We open doors to customers in the public sector, in corporate supply chains, even to foreign buyers halfway around the world. Now you may ask, is this all too good to be true? The first C, capital. The SBA has supported more loans to our small businesses in the last 5 years than any other time in history. Our loan volume has totaled $146 billion since President Obama took office. That's more than the GDP of most countries like Hungary or Vietnam. The second C, counseling. We provide mentorship, counseling, and strategic advice to more than 1 million small business owners every year. We have hundreds of small business development centers, women business centers, veterans outreach centers, and our very own Small Business Administration district offices. Our seasoned business executives with SCORE operate out of 800 locations in communities across every state in the union. They log more than 1 million hours every year because they want to give back. They want to offer their knowledge and their experience to you. They do one-on-one counseling, or in some instances, they'll come right to your place of business. But whether you meet them in your home, at your business, one thing remains the same. Their counseling and mentoring services are free. On the third C, contracts. We oversee the federal government supply chain for small business. The U.S. is the largest buyer in the world. So some have a helpful uncle who helps them open a door. You now have Uncle Sam. The SBA helps small businesses do nearly $100 billion of business a year. We also help small businesses plug into the supply chain of the Fortune 1000 companies. Some small firms that enter large corporate supply chains because increase their revenue by an average of 250%. The SBA can help you go global too. Last year, we counseled more than 15,000 entrepreneurs interested in exporting, and we shattered our record for export finance, supporting $3 billion in lending. Think about it, just for a moment. 95% of consumers live outside of this country's borders, but only 1% of our small businesses are selling to them right now. Talk about an untapped market. There's so much growth potential in our interconnected global economy. Over the last 3 decades, technology has transformed the business world, enabling international commerce, and no one has benefited more than our small businesses. In 2014, small firms can reach out to customers with one smart click of a mouse. They can analyze data faster, conduct national recruiting searches from their laptop, communicate with potential customers across the globe. Technology means small businesses get into profitability faster. Social media companies have revolutionized the way companies emerge with their customers. As a former marketer, I can attest to the paradigm shift this medium represents. It used to take millions of dollars in ad buys for a small business to become a big one. Not anymore. Today, companies like Twitter can help entrepreneurs start real conversations with consumers to build customer loyalty. It's a different world in 2014. Entrepreneurs, in fact, can do their business in their pajamas. I recall when Cookies and Bites were about eating. Now all you need is a great idea, a marketable skill, and passion. We're going to be hosting workshops live streamed at sba.gov all week long. We'll show you how to promote your business in the mobile and digital age, get counseling and capital. Finally, I would let the opportunity go to make a little startup news. Today, SBA is announcing a new competition for those who help seed organizations, and they are dedicated to helping startups go from 0 to 60 in record time. These organizations are called growth accelerators. Some of you are asking, what is an accelerator? Well, raise your hand if you've ever seen the new HBO show, Silicon Valley. Okay, so you know that house where the main character lives? Okay, well, that's not a growth accelerator, although they do have a lot of fun on that show. Accelerators actually provide physical infrastructure, such as a university incubator or a local nonprofit. They offer up space, mentoring, networking, business plan assistance, and sometimes startup capital too. Throughout most of American history, it's been companies like Xerox, GM, or DuPont that served as our laboratories for innovation. They invented and produced game-changing technologies like the computer mouse or Teflon. But now small businesses take the lead, outpacing the innovation rate of larger firms. There are hundreds of growth accelerators in communities across America, but most of them are concentrated on the coasts. We want to export the Silicon Valley model to communities in Middle America, across the nation, in urban centers and rural communities. We want to seed new accelerators focused on key industries like clean energy, new accelerators focused on underserved communities, whether it's women, minorities, or veterans, or encore entrepreneurs. Today, the SBA is announcing a $2.5 million national competition to help these accelerators scale up and to help accelerators spring up. Those who apply will be eligible for $50,000 prizes. Winners can use that money for things like rent, office equipment, Wi-Fi connections, and whiteboards. We'll announce the prize winners this fall, so stay tuned again through sba.gov to learn more. Let me close now my comments. Let me thank you so much again for being here at National Small Business Week. But I want to remind everyone about the 3 C's. If you need capital to grow, if you need counseling to plan, or you need contracts to expand your business, then look up your local SBA office. It doesn't matter if you're a restaurant, a consultant company, an e-commerce website, or the next big thing in high tech. The SBA is here for you. We want to be your angel. Give us a call or tweet me to keep the conversation going. I'm launching today, MCS for Biz. And so let's keep the conversation going through Twitter. And also, to continue to use the hashtag SBW2014. Together, we'll grow our national economy. We'll grow your businesses and America along with it. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Administrator Contreras-Sweet. Up next, we have our Vice President of Public Policy, Colin Crow, who will be introducing our distinguished guest speaker.
Thank you. I'd like to start off by thanking again Administrator Contreras-Sweet. We're thrilled you're here, and we're delighted to be able to host the kickoff this week here today. So thank you for coming. I'd also like to spend, before I introduce Leader Pelosi, just a minute to thank Mayor Ed Lee again, because the mayor, along with Supervisor Board President David Chu, our local supervisor, Jane Kim, came together to help create a climate that was conducive to investment here in the mid-market Tenderloin area. And what you see today is the palpable effect of that investment and that smart public policy. And so not only are we getting the job creation and the platform for innovation that is here in this building, but it is, I think, provoking a look by policymakers around the country that are now looking here at these policies that the municipal leadership put on the books as a showcase for other policymakers in other parts of the country. So again, another applause for Mayor Lee. Thank you very much for your efforts on that. Before I came to Twitter, I spent over 20 years on Capitol Hill as a House staffer for then Congressman Ed Markey, now Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts. And so I have had the ability to see Leader Pelosi up close, and particularly on the issues that I worked on, which were the issues on telecommunications and internet policy. So it's with particular delight that I have the chance to introduce you today. Leader Pelosi has represented San Francisco for over 26 years in the U.S. Congress. She has led the House Democrats for a decade. And even though we are at a so-called small business event here at Twitter today, Leader Pelosi knows that small business doesn't mean small dreams. It means big dreams, big hopes, and big aspirations. But we also know that when it comes to business, at least in Washington, Leader Pelosi means business. She has been heralded because of her leadership when Speaker Norm Ornstein, who is a well-known congressional scholar, noted that the 111th Congress was one of the most productive Congresses in the history of Congress. And so that isn't something that you always hear said about a Congress. So I think a round of applause for that kind of leadership that we see there. One of the things that, if you look at her career, she spent and has been a leader on so many issues, but just to rattle off a few that are quite notable for us here today. Initiatives to make college aid more available, to make college more affordable. Work on clean energy and a clean environment and addressing climate change. Lowering healthcare costs and providing consumers with a patient bill of rights. Her work on small business, which I'm sure she'll elaborate on in just a moment. But particularly her work supporting laws and efforts around minority and women-owned businesses, small businesses. And then something close to my heart, but also important to Twitter, and I'd suggest to small businesses everywhere. She has been a real champion on a policy called net neutrality. And that policy is what has preserved the free and open internet. And that policy of openness on the internet has created perhaps the greatest equalizer of opportunity for small businesses to reach both local and world markets. And those policies are in play in Washington today. We're certainly hopeful that the Federal Communications Commission will get those policies right. But we count on Leader Pelosi to continue the strong leadership that she has provided thus far in making sure that net neutrality stays on the books and is a policy that small businesses and citizens can count on for years to come. So with that, a big warm welcome to Democratic Leader Nancy Pelosi.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Colin, for your very generous introduction. Thank you for the invitation to be here today. Thank all of you for your leadership to grow our economy in a way that promotes small business, women-owned business, minority-owned businesses, entrepreneurship in our great community of the San Francisco Bay Area. I want to acknowledge Mayor Ed Lee. You can tell by his comments here today and his ongoing leadership that he understands the interconnectivity of all of the issues that we're talking about here. He thinks entrepreneurially. He thinks entrepreneurially, so he saves a lot of time of leaping over some old notions with some new ideas to get the job done. And because of him, we are gathered here today to have this conversation in the heart of San Francisco at Twitter. Thank you, Mayor Lee, for your great leadership. It's wonderful to be here with Administrator Maria Contreras-Sweet. She spelled out a great deal of what is happening at the federal level. I won't go back into that. As we say in the Congress, I associate myself with her remarks, but I will say a little bit about Congress's role in all of that. What you should know about the administrator, we're proud of her for 3 reasons. 1, she's a Californian. 2, she is a woman leader. And 3, she is a Latino. She was the first Latina to be the head of a state agency, and a large one at that, and now the administrator at SBA. I had the privilege of talking to the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, a conglomeration of mostly small business people in Washington. While I was speaking, I had a note passed to me that Administrator Contreras-Smith had been confirmed by the Senate unanimously. So that tells you the respect that she commands, not only in our state and the leadership of Governor Brown, but also nationally under the leadership of President Obama. I am so happy to be here with your CEO, Dick Costolo, and I've been an admirer of his entrepreneurship, his innovation, his business skills, and all the rest, but I didn't realize until this morning that one of the reasons he's such a good communicator on all of these subjects is that he was with improv in an early time. Is that true? Could that be true? Well, that's what it said. So again, all of these talents coming together. I thank Colin for his leadership with Senator, then Congressman, Chairman Markey, and taking the values and the public policy knowledge into the private sector, public-private partnerships. That's how we are going to succeed, to understand the ramifications on both sides. And what a joy it is here to be with Premal Shah, whom we all look forward to hearing from in his keynote address. And again, aren't we proud of Vivian Har? Is that such a remarkable story? Congratulations to her parents for instilling those values in her, and what a star she is. Mozzarella, can't wait to come to the restaurant, the pizzeria, and congratulations to you and also to Iron Construction for the work that you do, and to all of you. What's so important about us being here at Twitter is the following. I think that there's nothing more optimistic anybody can do than to start a small business. Do you agree? Maybe getting married. Well, what do you think? Married, small business, but both of them right up there. And where that comes together is yesterday I went to a florist to get some flowers for my daughters, who are wonderful moms. 2 of them are small business women. And when I was in there, the proprietor said, "Thank you for supporting small business." It was so wonderful because of all that he had to do with all of these people in line on Sunday morning. Thank you for supporting small business. But of course, we always do in San Francisco because it's who we are. Now, as I go around, and we make policy in Washington, D.C., we write bills, but we don't do it just from there. We listen to the community, to the small business people who tell us what they need. And I'll go into that in a moment. But first, in relationship to Twitter, I want to say this. One of the things that is a challenge to small business is survival, right? When you're starting, and the administrator talked about her first experience, survival. The next step is success. Gloria, hallelujah, success. But what we always strive for is not just survival in order to succeed, is transformation, to take it to another place. And everybody here who's ever had a product now has infinitely more distribution because of social media, because of Twitter and others. That is transformational. That is transformational. The world can know. And at the same time, that whole idea of the exchange of ideas is really democratizing the economy. And thank you, Twitter, for your courage in places like Turkey to fight the fight for a democratic voice. When I say democratic, with a small d, the people's voice and all of this. So it's all connected, as the mayor described, and as he talked about what happens here in our city and how things relate to each other, and as the secretary pronounced in terms of what's happening at the national level. And as you know, the president issued on Friday his proclamation, and it was, as the mayor said, it was, I have the secretary's speech here, so I won't read that. But it was the 51st, it's the 51st anniversary, but it was 50 years ago that the Small Business Week was established. And in his comments, the president said, small businesses are the lifeblood of our economy, employing half of our country's workforce, as the secretary mentioned, and creating nearly 2 out of every 3 new American jobs. During the National Small Business Week, we renew our commitment to helping these vital enterprises to thrive. We thank you, President Obama, for that, but also for the policies that you have initiated that go with it, many of them the Secretary referenced. But I do want to say that one of the first things that the President did as President, in addition, the first thing was to sign the Lilly Ledbetter Act, ending discrimination against women. But one of the first major economic initiatives was the American Reinvestment and Recovery Act. And in that act, the SBA, thanks to the Recovery Act that the President signed, the SBA has supported over $93 billion in lending to more than 166,000 small businesses since 2009, when that bill passed and became the law. Many of those business and the Small Business Administration, much of this, of course, had to have legislation, congressional action, much of it bipartisan, not all of it. This SBA, this ARA bill was only Democratic votes, unfortunately. But many of the other initiatives. In the president's budget for this year, President Obama's budget request is for $710 million in appropriations for SBA, which includes $155 million in disaster relief. You have to know, when disaster strikes, the SBA is there not only for small businesses, but for homeowners. And again, all of that generates success in the economy, progress in the economy. Whether it's SBIR, SBIC, small business loans to women and minority-owned businesses, SBA is there. But you have to take advantage of it. You have to take advantage of it. And that's why we're so proud of the SBA, our regional offices, in California, because I mean, let's just be candid about this. This is the hotbed of entrepreneurship in America. Is that not right? Can we not take pride in that? As the Secretary said, we want to be able to have centers of entrepreneurship all over the country. But California has led the way. Now, I just want to close by saying, again, our agenda is about keeping American jobs on our shores through empowering American businesses, national security. We should have many more small businesses, women and minority-owned business and small business participating in the contracting from our Department of Defense and the entire federal government. Innovation, clean energy technology, the centerpiece of so much of the businesses of tomorrow. Competitiveness. What my small business people have said to me as I've gone around, and I will close with this, they have said we need access to credit, we need a trained workforce, so we need investments in education, and we need customers. We need customers. And so the success of our entire economy is related to the success of our small businesses, And the success of our small businesses is related to the success of our economy. And so in that vein, I want to announce to you our When Women Succeed, America Succeeds agenda. It's about women getting paid fairly, equal pay for equal work, entrepreneurship of women, women as employers as well as employees, women and starting their own businesses. It's about paid sick leave for women and men, and it's about quality, affordable child care to unleash the power of women in the workplace. When Women Succeed, America Succeeds is not just the title of our economic agenda for women and families, it is an absolute fact. And did I say I was closing? One more thing. One more thing. In March, it was Women's History Month, and I invited Janet Yellen, chairwoman of the Fed, Janet Yellen, first woman to head any central bank in the world. Janet Yellen, appointed by President Obama. She came, and in her remarks, which were reported in the press, so I can say them here, she said, the economic growth of America in the 20th century owes a great deal to the involvement of women in the economy. The growth in the 20th century. Now, in this new century, we have to do much more. But all of it is related. All of it is related. So thank you to Twitter for the transformational impact you have had on small businesses, on our economy, on democratizing communication, as well as economic growth. Thank you, Twitter, for having us all here today to hear the ideas and to listen to our small business owners whose voices are what we learn. And much has been said about big business doing their number. Again, the entrepreneurship comes from the smaller businesses that can be more agile, adapt more quickly to new thinking and new ideas. So thank all of you for thinking entrepreneurially. Thank you for driving the energy of the American economy. And thank you for the opportunity to share some thoughts with you today. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Leader Pelosi. That was absolutely inspirational. For today's keynote, I would like to welcome the president and co-founder of Kiva.org, Premal Shah. As president and co-founder of Kiva, Mr. Shah pioneers the crowdfunding space for the source for social good and a catalyst for revitalizing local economies around the world. Kiva.org is a nonprofit with a mission of connecting people through lending to alleviate poverty. His leadership at Kiva has helped crowdfund microloans for more than 1.3 million small business entrepreneurs in 40 U.S. states and 75 countries. Ladies and gentlemen, give a hand to Premal Shah.
Good morning. When I think about San Francisco Bay Area, and I think when the media covers the Bay Area, I think they oftentimes see the skyscrapers. They see the businesses like Twitter, like Apple, like Facebook, like Google, that are breakout successes, that are truly changing the world. And they should be celebrated. But this 1 week, National Small Business Week, is an exciting time because we want to shine the light on small businesses. We know that you all are the backbone of our economy. 2 out of 3 jobs created are through small businesses. And, I do think it takes a lot of courage to start a small business. In fact, I think it's probably the most radical act of hope to be an entrepreneur, to start a small business in an otherwise cynical world. And what you do every day deserves to be celebrated and highlighted. And I'm proud to stand alongside of you here at National Small Business Week. Now, I'm going to give you a little background on what Kiva is, and then how we hope to help serve small businesses here in San Francisco, as well as around the country, in addition to worldwide. Kiva started 8 years ago, and it started out of a realization that there are market-based approaches all around the planet that really help lift people out of poverty. And if you can just allow everyday people like you and me to participate, not as donors, but as lenders into small businesses around the planet, people would do it. That was the belief. Now, when you lend on Kiva, you're lending at 0% interest. You don't actually get a rate of return. But we felt that there's enough people out there that are looking for sustainable solutions and believe that the markets and businesses can be powerful forces for good. So what we wanted to do is allow organizations around the planet, typically microfinance partners in 75 countries, to post the stories, the business plans of entrepreneurs, like, for example, this woman here in Honduras, and then you in $25 increments, as well as people all around the internet, can lend to these entrepreneurs. Now, what's happened since launching, the first year was pretty brutal. We started with 7 businesses, and no one was really coming to our website. And it wasn't, we were all volunteers. I had just quit my job at PayPal. We were all just volunteers in the Mission District. And it wasn't until we were on PBS Frontline World, a documentary that showed kind of the Kiva website in October of 2006, that things really started taking off. That was the real inflection point. Our website crashed. We were on the $22 a month server plan, and it was down for 4 days. And luckily, one of our volunteer engineers stuck up a PayPal button and said, "Hey, you've melted our servers. Help us buy new ones." And we raised $120,000 from the internet community in donations to just kind of get new servers, but also really start scaling Kiva. And what Kiva does is it allows people like you and me again to lend, and the growth now has just crossed $500 million in loans to 1.2 million entrepreneurs. A loan is made every 4 seconds on the website, and what's amazing is 3 out of 4 entrepreneurs are women-run businesses. And this is a testament to entrepreneurs everywhere. The repayment rate on the main Kiva.org website on $500 million worth of loans is 98%. Now, most people, when they get repaid, instead of pulling that money back out to their PayPal account, they tend to recycle that money, helping other entrepreneurs around the planet. Well, in 2007, 2008, 2009, the economy locally here really started going south. And we started wondering, geez, if unemployment and poverty is on the rise right here in the United States, if banks are kind of freezing lending, and if small businesses are the job creators, and you talk to a small business owner, and usually in their top 3 constraints, you'll hear capital. Why not try to bring microfinance here? Why not try to support microfinance organizations here that are working with small businesses? And so, together with Opportunity Fund, Eric Weaver, do you want to raise your hand? Great Bay Area microlender. And Axion, which is our partner in New York, we experimented with launching microfinance, supporting micro entrepreneurs. These are entrepreneurs who employ 5 employees or fewer. There's 25 million businesses like that here in the United States, and we wanted to see if crowdfunding could work locally. Well, what's been exciting is people are interested in supporting small businesses because there really is a gap. We read this statistic, and this really motivated our work locally. 7 out of 10 businesses, even today in the United States, get rejected for a bank loan. That's 8,000 businesses, small businesses a day here in the US that get rejected. And I don't want to blame the banks. The banks aren't bad. The challenge is we believe it's an information gap. We believe that oftentimes the things that are most measurable isn't always what counts when it comes to underwriting a loan. So what banks tend to look at are credit scores, cash flows, and collateral. But what it doesn't look at is character. And we were wondering, could you actually create a system that goes back to banking maybe 100 years ago, where your banker would go, really get to know you, build a relationship with you, maybe go talk to your pastor, ask, hey, does he show up on church on time, so on and so forth. Really get to know one's character in the absence of things like an automated credit score system. So we launched a new venture, and it's a separate website called kivazip.org. And I want to explain how this could be useful for small businesses right here in this room, as well as all the folks on Twitter who are in the US who are watching. Basically, it allows you as a small business, if you are doing two things. One, if you can call yourself a social entrepreneur, basically by being in business, you're doing something good for the community. And two, if other people can vouch for you, then you qualify for a 0% interest crowd-funded loan from the internet community. I'm going to illustrate. I'm going to make this really concrete. This is the Mission Economic Development Agency. They work right here in the Mission District with Latino entrepreneurs and help do things like business training, counseling, financial literacy counseling. And they see small businesses all the time. And many people who graduate from their training courses, when they try to go get a loan from a bank, they're unable to qualify. This is Victor. Victor is a San Francisco-based entrepreneur. He immigrated from Mexico about 12 years ago, and through his church, got a job at a coffee shop and worked at a coffee shop for many years. And his dream was to start his own coffee shop. Now, Victor, when he went to the Mission Economic Development Agency to get business training, his instructor saw that gleam in his eye. You know, he showed up on time, he did all his homework. There's something really kind of there. He had that entrepreneurial hustle. And even though his credit score as an immigrant wasn't kind of, where it needed to be, and even though he wasn't able to get a loan from not only a bank, but local community development financial institutions, his instructor really believed in Victor. So we allowed his instructor, you can see Mission Economic Development Agency, could vouch for Victor so that he could qualify for a 0% interest loan. It's a starter loan. It's a credit building product of $5,000. And this is back in November of 2011. Now, like 9 out of 10 borrowers on Kiva, Victor will raise that money within 30 days. So typically in crowdfunding, just because you list your project doesn't mean that you're going to get funded. The beauty about the Kiva model is a lot of the money is just recycled money that keeps coming. Now, the catch is that you have to pay it back. It's not free money in the sense that you have to pay it back, but it's without interest. Now, Victor raised this money from 67 people around the internet. And you can see a lot of these folks are local. And they become not only potential kind of capital providers, but really customers, which are a huge constraint for small businesses. Brand advocates. You can see that people are talking about his recent Yelp profile. Now, what's great is, like most Kiva entrepreneurs, Victor repaid his loan. This is back in 2012. His first loan, $5,000, 12-month monthly installments. As he pays back this loan, we allow him to raise a second loan of $10,000 at 0% interest. And this is for the construction of his second coffee shop now. You can see this is a 36-month loan in 2013. So Victor's well on his way to be a real great success story. But here's where I think it gets interesting. Because Victor has established his character on the internet, his creditworthiness, we now allow Victor to vouch for Rocio. Rocio is a house cleaner right here in San Francisco. And she'd bring that vacuum cleaner on the SF Muni, on the bus. And between dropping her kids off at school and picking them up after work, she was missing client appointments, especially over the holiday season when business really became busy. She needed a car. She was unable to actually afford a car. She couldn't get a loan, again, because of her credit score. But Victor knew her personally, knew her character. And so Victor, who we trusted, because he had been paying back his loans, we allowed him now to vouch for Rocio. Rocio raised money from a crowd of people around the internet, again, new potential customers. And more than that, for Rocio, when 44 people back you, that's the most people who's ever believed in her life. It's about not only capital and customers, but it's about confidence. It's like when a teacher believes in a student, the student tries harder, they know that they can actually succeed. And this is what we're talking about when we're trying to really, really make this whole system much more human. Well, anyways, what's great is as Rocio paid back the loan, guess what she did? She vouched for Eva, who sells at Bay Area flea markets. Eva needed a $3,000 loan to buy electronics and art supplies. And essentially, the cycle continues. Now, this is available for a number of entrepreneurs. I'm going to, for example, highlight what Buy Right, a local market here in San Francisco. They've just vouched for 6 entrepreneurs in their value chain, local food businesses, including Jessica here. Jessica basically was able to raise $5,000 from 200 Kiva lenders for her chocolates company. She needed to basically buy storage and more inventory. And what's great is a local school, town school here, was one of the lenders. It's a middle school. And they asked her a bunch of questions on the Conversations tab, and now Jessica has done a local tasting at the town school. So it's about bringing communities together. It's really, really fascinating. Where we are right now with this Kiva Zip pilot is essentially 120 businesses, underserved businesses. These are businesses that the banks will not say yes to because of inadequate cash flows, collateral, or credit history. 7,000 people on the internet have made loans totaling $637,000 at 0%. The money goes right to your PayPal account. And then here's what everyone was asking. If you basically allow character to supplant the traditional credit score and collateral and cash flow system, what's the repayment rate going to be? And on this early Bay Area pilot, we're at a 95.5% repayment rate. It's a credit to these entrepreneurs. This is better than a lot of small business portfolios of banks. And this is really exciting because what it could mean is that this could now become the starter loan product that helps people establish credit histories that then allow them to get larger loans from the banks faster. And this is what we want to do, is help fill this information gap left behind by credit scores. All right, I'm going to talk about something that I think is really important. It was mentioned earlier, the importance of small businesses kind of viewing their role as really keepers of our community, and the importance of integrating social good into your business, especially now that the world is so interconnected, because we think when you do that, it will actually not only help other people, but it'll actually be good business. And I'm going to illustrate with a business owner I met in Pittsburgh. We just launched this Kiva Zip system in Pittsburgh with 35 businesses out there to begin that trust graph of people vouching for people. One of the gentlemen I met is this guy, Thomas here, of Dream Cream Ice Cream. And you can see that he was crowdfunding a loan recently on the site to basically kind of raise money for a festival, because during the wintertime as an ice cream seller, business isn't very good in Pittsburgh. So basically, his story is great because he has figured out a way to integrate social good into a small business. He's not just any ice cream store. He has 16 flavors, 8 of which are his for-profit flavors, 8 of which are what he calls his nonprofit flavors. This is genius. The nonprofit flavors, each one of those flavors has a specific cause. And the cause can be a nonprofit or it can be an individual. For example, one woman was a nurse in Pittsburgh. She wanted to always go volunteer at a teaching hospital in Rwanda. She couldn't afford the airfare. She volunteered in the store, right? Brings down his costs. And every time that flavor was purchased, 25% of sales went to her. And what he talks about is ice cream. Everyone loves it. It's high margin, right? And what he believes he's selling is not ice cream, but it's community empowerment. Ice cream is a vehicle for community empowerment. Small business is a vehicle for community empowerment. And what's great is not only does it, lower his cost, so it's sustainable, but it really drives word of mouth. And what I would encourage all of you small business owners to contemplate is how can you not just be entrepreneurs in our community, but really social entrepreneurs. And what we hope to do as part of this ecosystem is for social entrepreneurs, we hope to make it cheaper cost of capital, more support, more followers on Twitter. Dream Cream PGH, we should give him a shout out if you're tweeting right now. He has over 1,000 Twitter followers. We really want businesses that are not only helping themselves, but helping the community. We really want to support these businesses because we believe this is a process of creating sustainable change in our communities, and we want to celebrate all of you. So with that, thank you again for having me, for being at the San Francisco kickoff of National Small Business Week. It's such an exciting time in the 21st century for small businesses everywhere to really get ahead, not only kind of survive and succeed, but really give back and be the foundations of our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kamala. It was such an absolutely inspirational story. So this brings us to the panel portion of today's event, and we're really excited about this because what we've done is that we've gotten a bunch of San Francisco local businesses to come here today, and really they're going to be highlighting with you the tips, insights, and tricks that they've thought about that has really helped grow their business through social media. So I'd like to welcome to the stage our moderator, who is Russ Laraway, who's head of our small and medium business group here. And on our panel, we are extremely lucky to have Jamie Walker from The Sweat Guru, JP Patel from 10Xer, and Jonathan Lay, who's from Bespoken Communications as well as from SCORE. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Anne. So we at Twitter have made a bit of a habit out of celebrating our customers' stories. And so what better way to do that, I think, than in the context of kicking off National Small Business Week. I want to give each panelist a moment, if you'd like, to say just a little bit more about your business. Jonathan, we'll start with you. Maybe say a little bit more about Bespoken and SCORE, if you'd like.
I'll talk a little bit about SCORE. And SCORE is a national nonprofit that helps entrepreneurs like yourselves grow their small businesses. I represent the San Francisco chapter today, which you can find at sfscore.org, and we offer free counseling to small businesses in the Bay Area.
So first I want to thank the SBA. Actually, the first company I started, I received 2 SBIR grants from them, so that really helped us get going. But 10Xer is a software company that's actually trying to use data and passively collected metrics to actually help managers understand how their employees or resources are doing and actually help them, guide them to be better performers.
Cool. Jamie?
Hi, I'm Jamie, and can I just say yay for more women in business. I'm from The Sweat Guru, and we're an online marketplace that helps people find fitness classes and experiences online. And really, we support small businesses, so fitness entrepreneurs grow and manage their own businesses online.
Cool. So for our first question, we'll stay with you, Jamie. Yeah, when did your business start using social media, and how did your use of it evolve over time?
So that's a great question. I often say that we started using social media long before T-Rex started hated to do push-ups. But no, really, we started using it long before we were even a business. We didn't have a viable business when we started using social media to engage with our core customers. Because what we realized was that if you can start that conversation early and you can figure out what your customers are talking about and who they're talking to and actually become part of that conversation in that community, that you can be really successful online.
Cool. Jonathan?
Yeah, as a SCORE business mentor, we find that a lot of businesses come to us asking how they can get up to speed and start running with social media. And I think there's been a big evolution in the way we've counseled small businesses on how to do that. And a lot of it starts with education these days, because we understand that a lot of the businesses that come to us, even though we're in the Silicon Valley, even though we're in San Francisco, aren't necessarily tech companies. They aren't necessarily social media savvy. So we have a lot of workshops that can help businesses learn about social media and learn how and more importantly, when to get engaged with this new medium.
Cool. JP, what about you guys at 10Xer?
So 10Xer, I only joined them in September, and they had tried to do some social media before, and they had written it off as really non-effective waste of money. And part of the reason was we don't exactly know who our target customer is yet. So rather than trying to build a bunch of followers for people that may or may not be our customers, I kind of decided, why don't we try and use social media to actually engage with people and talk about what we are doing and find out if it's valuable to them. So what we do is we basically now is we iterate very quickly on our product, and we basically use social media to get feedback on whether what we are doing is useful or not. And we try and have a dialogue with people, is this something you would use with your team or not? Or is it something that you are philosophically opposed to?
So just
getting a lot of feedback.
Direct market feedback to figure out product market fit.
Exactly.
That's outstanding. All right, next question, and we'll start with Jonathan on this one. So the question is for JP and Jamie, it'll be what challenges have you faced in using social media? But for Jonathan, maybe a little bit different spin for you since you're a SCORE mentor. You obviously probably hear about lots of challenges lots of businesses have. Maybe we could hear about a couple of those that you've seen through your SCORE mentorship.
Sure. And when we think about the challenges that small business owners deal with, especially when they're working with social media, is that it's a fundamental repositioning in the way that we do business, because it's not only incredibly empowering, but it also provides a lot of opportunities for small businesses to be part of a dialogue that they otherwise wouldn't be a part of. And this comes with its own challenge, because small businesses, again, they might be restaurants, they might be artisans or artists, and be starting up their small businesses and wanting to get into social media. And we find that social media fundamentally changes the way that they do business, because it turns us all into content creators of content, right? Which we might not necessarily do by trade. So there's a lot of education that goes into that and figuring out how to be a part of that dialogue. And at SCORE, that's one of the things that we mentor small businesses on, is how to get involved in that way, so that it supports not only the small business, but the type of industry that they're in and how they engage with that industry.
Cool. JP?
So, like I mentioned, we faced a lot of challenges before I got there. And one of the things I think we still continue to face is we're a small team, and social media encompasses a lot of different things. So making sure we actually have the time to spend on customer support or sales or marketing. But, I mean, when you kind of bucket those into various things, we have conversations that we're having online, and sometimes the message isn't what we want to get out there, and people start running with it. So you have to realize that you can't control conversation on social media to some degree, and dealing with trying to best sort of direct the conversation as best you can is one of the challenges. But then another major challenge is, there's all these different social media tools you may be using. How do you actually track what is useful? What are the right metrics for you? Are you actually getting the right people on board? And what you find is when you use Twitter's analytics or things like that, there's a certain amount of breakdown that happens between Twitter and Google Analytics and Mixpanel and all the various tools you use. So actually trying to figure out what is your ROI and what are the metrics you're going after becomes a bit of a challenge.
Cool. Thanks. Jamie?
I think for us, probably like many people in this room, as a startup, you often lack the resources, the time you need to dedicate fully to your social media channels. And as I said, for us, it's been a real lifeline of our business. It's where our core customers are daily interacting, having conversations. So we realized that for customer retention, for sales, for service, we really needed to be there, and we needed to be there in a big way. So we had to dedicate ourselves and our team to being fully responsive and 100% committed to those channels. And it just takes that time. It takes those resources and commitment.
Yeah, we tell businesses all the time, the conversation's happening there on Twitter. You should choose to be in it. You could choose to be out of it, or you could choose to be in it. And sometimes choosing to be in it creates some new challenges. But it sounds like you guys have done an amazing job dealing with those. So third question, we'll start with JP. What's the most successful campaign you've ever run on Twitter?
So like I mentioned earlier again, that we had written off social media, and one of the things we had launched this kind of open source project where we were connecting, like we're trying to do a little good. All these open source projects don't have metrics to understand how their community is growing or who's using it. And so what we did was we sort of gave them use of our software for free. And what we're trying to do is understand if it was useful to them. So we basically were starting to tweet out to various big, heavily used open source projects and ask them, is this something you value? Is it something you would use? And it turned out one of the guys who was actually at Twitter was the creator of Bootstrap, Mark Odo, and he tweeted back to us that this is very valuable. And that one single tweet drove our traffic for the day up 9 times. Our weekly traffic to our website went up 4 times, and our blog traffic for the week went up 3 times. So that was like eye-opening to us that, hey, there might be something valuable to tweeting. And then from there, what we found is like as long as we're tweeting at the right people, so one of the problems we have is segmentation, making sure we get the right customer, the user who's going to use our product. With Twitter, what we were able to do is target specific users using the at this particular person, which is the followers, and it really helped us to segment very well. And as long as we are choosing the right followers to go after, we tend to have very good results on our campaigns.
Great, thanks. Jamie, what's the best campaign you've all ever run?
Yeah, so it's really hard to pinpoint a specific campaign for us, but I think one of the best things that we've ever done on Twitter or on social media in general was we created unique hashtags from the very get-go, and we were very persistent and really dedicated, again, to using those hashtags on a consistent basis and talking to our customers in that way. And what ended up happening, which is really, really cool, is our customers started talking back to us using our hashtag, and then from there, now they use it independent of us. And that's a really cool thing to see. Anytime I go on and I search it, I'm astounded by how many people are having conversations in the fitness realm about Sweat Pink or Let's Get Sweaty. And those are things that we coined and we owned from day one. And we were just very persistent and kept moving with it. And I think that's been a really, really neat thing to see.
So hashtag Sweat Pink, hashtag Let's Get Sweaty?
That's right.
Cool.
That's right.
Make sure we get that. That's on the live stream, right, Jimmy? We got, cool. So a few thousand people will see that. Jonathan, what about you guys?
You know, when we counsel a lot of small businesses, we find that the most successful ones are the ones who know about social media, are educated on social media, and savvy about social media before they get started with social media. I mean, that's huge. We find that social media has this gigantic opportunity to magnify the influence of a business. As if you've seen with JP and Jamie, it gives you a way to get into a conversation that you might not otherwise be a part of. And a lot of the successful businesses that we work with, we start them from the ground up in learning about social media and specifically how it can help their business. And we've seen a lot of great success stories come because of that.
Great. Next question will be for, did we get you on that last one? Yeah, you led off, right? Next question will be for Jonathan and Jamie. Just about trends. What trends are you seeing out there in the use of social media? And actually, let's go right back to you, Jonathan.
Sure. The trend that we're seeing is the one that I talked about in the very beginning, which is huge, which is that a lot of businesses that come to us are thinking about social media as this thing they need to have. And one trend that we're seeing kind of evolve is that we're all becoming content publishers, and that exposes what we say to this new level of transparency, of immediacy, and brevity with the way that we convey our thoughts on our businesses. It's making them a lot more public. It's putting out there so that everyone can see them immediately, and there's less of a real estate opportunity to go and speak our mind the same way that we would on a blog necessarily or in a byline. So it's really changed the way that small businesses interact with their industry, with other people, with other businesses, and that's been a really large trend in how we work with them to start affecting a lot of those different constituencies that they might have, be it customers or partners or other businesses. So I'd say that, yeah, it's opened up a big conversational opportunity with a lot of other businesses.
Yeah. So if you are live tweeting on the hashtag SBW 2014, I think Jonathan gave you a great soundbite: brevity, immediacy, and
transparency.
Transparency. So brevity, immediacy, transparency. That's a great shift and a great trend. Jamie, what about you guys?
Yeah, so for us, we hear and we see this all the time. Other brands, our partners, and even friends are asking us all the time, I am doing social media for XY company, and I really want to create a community or an ambassador program or an influencer network. And I often just say that I look at them and I say the same thing. It takes a ton of legwork to do that. It takes a ton. And we did it. We put in that time. Those are really buzzwords right now. People on social media want communities. They want ambassador programs. They want all of these things. I think before you go into something like that, think about whether or not you have the time, the resources, and the energy to dedicate to it. And if you don't, if you're honest with yourself, go and see what other communities already exist and try and tap in that way. Because that can be a much more cost-effective and efficient way for you to get involved and be talking where your customers are talking.
Great, thank you. All right, last question. We'll start with JP, bat lead off for us again. What's the best piece of advice you could give to a small business trying to get some value out of social media?
So my advice would be to start very simple. You running a small business have a limited amount of time, and like Jamie just said, it takes a lot of effort to really do social media well. And if you start to do it and then do it half on, half off, it starts to reflect poorly on you also, because it's in the social media, sometimes you're responding, sometimes you're not. People might have expectations that you respond. But I would say first you need to start small, decide what you're trying to do with social media. Don't try and do everything. Don't try and do customer support, lead gen, marketing, trying to have all sorts of campaigns and competitions and all those sorts of things. Just start really simple. Decide what metrics you want to track. Run a small campaign or whatever you're trying to do. Look back and decide, did I actually achieve my metrics? If I did, great. Now I'm going to try something else, trying to improve it further. If I didn't, why didn't I achieve it? Really dive into the metrics and understand who you're targeting. And then from there, I would say the most important thing is, as a small business, you should try and leverage tools like Hootsuite, Buffer, things like that can really take the amount of time you put into it and leverage it a lot. And the last thing I would say is try and engage with someone like Jonathan. I got a lot of benefit from reading online and talking to lots of people who had effective social media campaigns. I wouldn't say that I could have done it just by trying some stuff out. I had to actually learn about what was effective and what wasn't, and I couldn't have done that without doing the research.
Cool, so start small, set some goals, and reach out to Jonathan. Great. Jonathan?
That's what I recommend as well. I echo a lot of what JP said there. I would, say start small and start simple. We have a lot, again, small businesses that come to us, and we find that the most successful ones are the ones who incorporate social media into their strategies on a piecemeal basis. They don't just try to run into it and let's go viral tomorrow. We put an emphasis on education and understanding not only social media, but their own business environment, their business needs, and then the landscape in which they work, because a lot of this is important in order to put a goal out there that's attainable through social media and then set a strategy against it. So I'd say that, businesses should be starting small, they should be starting simply, and then work into it piecemeal, and then, of course, come see me at SF Score.
Great. Jamie, last word.
Yeah, I really think it's important to be engaged. I say this time and time again, your customers are there to have conversations, not to be sold to. So the more that you can talk to your customers in a real, very authentic, transparent way, the better success you'll have online. And I also wanted to say, as JP said, tools are a really, really essential way to getting it done. We use Hootsuite, Rafflecopter, and GroupHigh, and those are just some of the ones that we use to help us keep things moving along. But engage, that's the best thing you can do.
Outstanding. Well, help me thank the panelists. Real businesses doing it every day, using Twitter to get it done. Thank you guys very much. Turn it over to Anne, who's going to
Thank you guys so much.
get us going for the last speaker.
Thank you guys so much. Those were wonderful tips and tricks to think about. Also, a lot of the resources that were mentioned up here today, we actually have some wonderful resource partners at a fair that Twitter is conducting upstairs directly after this event. So we definitely recommend checking that out, where you can talk to great companies like Hootsuite and get more advice from there. So up next, I would love to welcome to the stage our Vice President of Marketing and Communications, Gabriel Strickler. And he is here to provide some opening remarks for one of our youngest business owners that's here today.
Thank you. So before I have the pleasure of introducing Vivian as an amazing example of a small business person, let me just take a moment to give you some context on her as a person, a small person in stature, but an amazing person and in heart and beyond. So several years ago, And I think you'll see a bit of this in a video that we'll show you in a moment. Several years ago, I think when Vivian was just 7, 8, that's when you tweeted it. But when did you first see the photo exhibition? Were you 8 at that time when you said? Okay, so when Vivian was just 8, see, he's already putting it into context. Vivian's father had seen a photo exhibition just north of us in the Napa Valley that was documenting child slavery, and Vivian's parents were incredibly moved by this and had the amazing presence to explain this reality to their children. And Vivian was really moved by this, and maybe this is where the story starts departing from the ordinary to the extraordinary. Vivian, being this incredible person, small in stature, enormous in heart, decided she was going to try to address this problem. And like any normal 8-year-old, she said that she would start creating a lemonade stand that was designed to raise proceeds in an attempt to eradicate child slavery. And it was going along just fine, and she was proceeding in her extraordinary way. And then one day, she decided that she was going to try to take the lemonade stand to the next level. And so she tweeted as follows, because at 8 years old, who isn't on Twitter with their parents engaging and trying to eradicate the world of child slavery, right? She tweeted as follows to the New York Times' Nick Kristof: "I'm 8. I'm making a stand against slavery at my lemonade stand every day until I raise $150,000. And Nick Kristof, this is nearly 2 years ago, while the rest of us were busy doing whatever it is that we were doing. Nick Kristof retweeted this, and Vivian was able to get even more attention for her lemonade stand. And this is where I think Vivian's story of being a small person in stature and enormous in heart transforms into being the story of a small business person, because it was not enough for her just to have a lemonade stand. Why just have a lemonade stand? You could just go out and start making a lemonade empire and start bottling lemonade at the age of 8 and selling this in supermarkets across the land and such, all in support of eradicating child slavery. So I'm going to just show for you a teaser of a documentary that was made about her, because if you're 8 years old, of course you should have a documentary made about you if you've been busy eradicating the world of child slavery. So I'm just going to show you this, and then we'll get to hear from her herself. Just 1 second here.
So serendipitous the way all of this occurred. Alex and I were up on a date weekend in Sonoma, and we were drinking wine and eating cheese and blissfully unaware of a lot of the evils in the world, and we stroll into this gallery. And there was one photo in particular of these 2 boys, roughly my daughter's age, who have these giant rocks strapped to their heads. Alex starts weeping uncontrollably, shaking, thinking that that could be our kids.
They go out and they work, and they get really sad and they cry, and whenever they cry and try to run away, bad things happen, and it's like living a nightmare.
She said, I want to free 500 of these kids. And it was this gigantic, audacious goal, and we're thinking, okay, wow, talk to us about this.
And we said, well, that's $150,000. How are we gonna do that? And she said, I could sell my lemonade.
When Vivian first started her lemonade stand, she was charging $2 a cup, and we're getting nowhere. She wants to raise $150,000, and we're $81 into it. I said, Vivian, we're gonna have to do something different because we're not making any headway.
We made it free and pay what's in your heart, and it just started going up and up and up.
And she wants you to make a stand with her for a very special cause.
Yeah, a little girl from the North Bay is fighting against child slavery.
She's making her mark on the world.
I'm Vivian. I am 9. I have been making a stand for 322 days in a row.
People fall into slavery not because they're willing and not because they're stupid. It's because they've been lied to.
It exists everywhere. Every country is afflicted with slavery.
I thought, how could this be? Wasn't this already taken care of in the 1800s?
Even if you have some trepidation, all your choices are bad. And so you say, okay, and then your child is gone.
With something as simple as a bar of chocolate or a cup of lemonade, you can reach halfway across the world and help a family out of poverty, help a kid stay in school, and help keep hope alive. What we do makes a difference. What we do with our lives makes a difference. That's a blessing, that what we do matters.
Please see the movie if you can, and welcome Vivian Haar.
Wow, thank you. That was really something. Okay, I gotta stand on my tippy toes, and that is tell us all the grown-ups, but okay. Hi everybody, I'm Vivian, I'm 10, and I'm here to talk about small businesses. But first, I'd like to thank a couple special people. I'd like to thank Twitter for letting me basically start my whole event and and for inviting me to this very fancy event. And I'd also like to thank the Small Business Administration for supporting small businesses like mine. And I'd like to thank UPS for making a stand with me and carrying our dream across the country. And I'd like to also thank a couple people here at Twitter. I'd like to thank Libby, Gabriel, and Mr. Costello for letting me ring the bell because that was really good for my small business. Everything I know about a small business I learned at a lemonade stand. Okay. Lemonade lesson 1. Oh, goodness gracious. Where am I? Okay. I need to, seriously, okay. Lemonade lesson 1. Start with your heart. I call make a stand a giveness. Give back give back from the beginning, not just a by the way. Follow your dreams because when you do, you know you're on the right path. And then, yes, here we go. If you can dream it, you can do it. Lemonade lesson 2. No offense to grown-ups. Really, no offense, but you kind of see the obstacles, and so a good advice that I have is think like a kid, and yeah. Thank you. Surround yourself with people who support your dream and forget the rest. If you stay true to your dream, you'll have more fun along the way. Okay, so before I give advice, this is Turner. He's right there, and he's just being a 4-year-old. So stick with it even on the bad days, and this was a bad day. I gotta tell you, it was, but we did it, and here we are. So, yeah. There will be bad days, I promise you. But you just have to smooth through it, and you can do it. Okay, so when I was in Times Square, I was like freezing cold for 4 hours at a time. That was not necessarily fun, but I knew I was doing the right thing. And then when we went back to the hotel, someone made a $30,000 donation and helped us reach our goal. So, yeah. There will be hard times, but what you do is what you do with them is what counts. Lemonade lesson 4. Use Twitter, and I'm not just saying that. If I just did a regular lemonade stand, I would have reached my street corner and maybe 2 others near me. But with Twitter, we reached every street corner in the world, and still reaching the street corners. Twitter is a way to tell people your story in 140 characters. With Twitter, you don't have to be big or powerful to change the world. You can be just like me, little old me. Lemonade lesson, oh boy, here we go. Okay. Lemonade lesson 5. Yes. It's not how small your business is, it's how big you think it can change the world. So I have this huge tree. Well, it wasn't always huge, but it's the oldest tree in Marin. And Marin or Fairfax, I forget, but I think it's Marin, yeah. Anyways, so it started as big as a seed of this pinky nail. And it was pink and tiny, and it looked like a little bean. But a long time ago, someone planted that, and they cared for it, and they just really loved on it, and it grew and grew and grew and grew and grew and grew and grew until it was 1,000,000 feet tall. So that's basically how business can work. If you can start small, but you'll grow big. If I can, you can. Yeah. And life is short. Start small, think big, and go for it. Thank you. Thank you.
Just to highlight, Vivian's Lemonade is offered in over 200 stores today, and she has distribution through California all the way to Texas. So that is what she's taken this. And she's 10-year-old today, so within 2 years of doing this. Thank you all so much. We've had such a wonderful morning, and to kind of wrap it up with some closing remarks, it is my pleasure to introduce our Vice President of Online Sales, Mr. Richard Alfonsi.
Well, thanks, Ann, and thanks to everyone, especially Vivian. That was just amazing to watch. It's not how small your business is, it's how big you think it can be, to paraphrase one of her slides. Look, I think this has been an amazing morning for me to see the just esteemed list of panelists, of speakers. Thank you to everyone, to Leader Pelosi, to Mayor Lee, to Administrator Contreras-Sweet, to our panelists, and to everyone who came to join us. I think it's clear what some of the folks said earlier on. I mean, that small businesses really are the lifeblood of our economy here. I mean, there's amazing stats about employing half of the U.S. population, about creating 2 out of 3 every new jobs. It's clear you guys are doing that here, and we're thrilled to be able to partner with the U.S. Small Business Administration to help kick off Small Business Week. It's clear that the impact we have on our communities is very large, and the passion you guys all have really is quite inspiring. I think I got goosebumps as we heard the story from Kiva about some of the stories of individuals who were creating new businesses, getting funding, vouching for their friends to be able to pay it forward. That really makes a huge impact on their lives. Seeing what could happen with software companies, with fitness companies, et cetera, how they're using social media, Twitter, and their own passion to be able to make things happen. And it's obvious that there's a lot of support here on the local level with Mayor Lee, on the national level with Leader Pelosi, with Administrator Contreras-Sweet, and here in this room, in this building, with Twitter. So I, among other things, do lead our small business team, and I think that small businesses will be the lifeblood of Twitter's business, as well as the lifeblood of our economy. So we're very excited about continuing to support what you all do. There are a few things, as far as that support goes, that we can point to. One, certainly there's more information available at the SBA website, sba.gov. You can visit Twitter's small business website, business.twitter.com, or follow either of us on Twitter at Twitter Small Biz or at SBA, SBA.gov. I certainly encourage you guys to do that. And there's one more thing. Because we're so excited about sponsoring this event, be able to host the kickoff, we wanted to give you all a sneak peek at some particular resources we put together. So my team created a small business guide, really how to use Twitter as a small business. I wanted to give you guys early access to that. So if you can go to this, this kind of a long URL, but if you can go to this, website address, it'll give you a guide that's interactive. Whether you're a Twitter pro or just getting started, don't even really understand how Twitter works, there's something for everyone there. So I certainly encourage you guys to be able to go to this site, see what's there, and see how you can really bolster your presence on Twitter and hopefully fuel your small business. So with that, I wanted to thank you all for your time today. I really respect all that you're doing, and thank you for all that you're doing for our economy, and wish everyone a great National Small Business Week. Thank you.
So mentioning that resource, we have gift bags for everybody in attendance here at the headquarters today that you can actually pick up at our small business resource fair, which will be upstairs. I want to give just a special from the heart thanks to everybody for coming out today and being at this event. We hope that you've had a wonderful time. Thank you so much, and join us upstairs. This concludes our event for today.